So, in what'll be the most detailed breakdown you ever see on the internet, Georgia's favored by 7 points. Big spread. We're going to talk about they can cover if they can get it. You see, 46% of the money is on Georgia, 25% of the bets. Let's get on into it. And we're going to start breaking down matchup by matchup. And the first matchup you got to look at is Georgia passing game versus the Ole Miss defense. You see Gunnar Stockton, he's been kept clean on 71.7% of his dropbacks this year, 82.2 PFF grade, 4 touchdowns, 1 picks. He's been under pressure 28.3% of the time, 2 touchdowns, no picks. I watched him in about 3 games this year, and I haven't really been impressed with any of the games I've seen. I think he's just a average, maybe game manager. He has a little bit of speed to him, so he's more than capable of getting out of the pocket and causing a little bit of havoc. So I would say for a normal passing range for him, you expect to get around 200, 225 yards. But Ole Miss's D line, they really haven't generated a pass rush like they have. So seeing that defensive line going against Georgia's offensive line, I will say that's not a great matchup for Ole Miss here. So I got to give the battle of the trenches on this side of the ball to Georgia. The Georgia wants to run the football, and they're kind of decent at it. 49th EPA per play, 42nd in success rate, and that is something Ole Miss is not. So obviously, this side of the ball I think has to be a massive favorite for Georgia. And remember, Georgia's the home team for this game. So if they can just keep running the ball down Ole Miss's throat, that cannot be a good matchup for them. So now we're going to look at the edge for when Georgia has the ball. And Georgia's offensive line versus Ole Miss defensive line. Georgia does have the edge in pass blocking, and Ole Miss has major issues stopping the runs. Georgia has a high run rate, which can make Ole Miss vulnerable given their run struggles. I will assume around 200 passing yards, 150, 200 yards on the ground. But I do think this is a matchup that could potentially favor Ole Miss a little bit. I could see them going for at least about 250 yards on Georgia. So on this side of the football, I do think Ole Miss may struggle to run the football. And given that that's kind of how Ole Miss wants to move the chains, I can see them being put in a lot of uncomfortable situations. Georgia's been vulnerable through the air, and Ole Miss, I do think, has the ability to take advantage. But I went with 16. I kind of excused the Tennessee game. That kind of looks like a little bit of a outlier here. And I don't think Ole Miss can take advantage in areas like Tennessee could, given that matchup. So now we got to look at if Georgia can cover. And at 375 yards of offense for Georgia, I do think there's a decent chance Georgia can cover in this. But I do think Georgia's got a great chance to cover that number.